Hey people, it's Naya talking. I'd like to thank Instagrammer called KishLB for telling me about this story. So I've gotten this from the Independent. I'll put a few more sources in later. Even cows are wondering what is happening. Locusts ravage East Africa in largest outbreak for 70 years. As millions of desert locusts descend on Kenya, farmers flail their arms and shout, bang pots and pans, and even swing shovels and blankets to try to stop the insects from destroying their crops. The hum of millions of locusts on the move is broken by the screams of farmers and the clanging of pots and pans, but their noise making does little to stop the voracious insects from feasting on the crops in this rural community. The worst outbreaks of desert locusts in Kenya in 70 years has seen hundreds of millions of the bugs swarm into the African nation from Somalia and Ethiopia. These two countries have not had an infestation like this in a quarter century, destroying farmland, threatening an already vulnerable region with devastating hunger. Even cows are wandering around what is happening to Naduna Makanga, who spent hours on Friday trying to chase the locusts from his farm. Corn, sorghum, cowpeas, they've eaten everything. When rains arrive in March and bring new vegetation across much of the region, the numbers of the fast-breeding locusts could grow 500 times before dry weather in June curbs their spread, the United Nations says. We must act immediately, said David Ferry of the UN Food and Agricultural Organization, as donors huddled in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, a 3-hour drive away. About $70 million is needed to step up aerial pesticide spraying, the only effective way to combat them, the UN says. That won't be easy, especially in Somalia, where parts of the country are in grip of the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab extremist group. The rose-colored locusts turn whole trees pink, clinging to branches like quivering ornaments before taking off in hungry, rustling crowds. Astonished by the finger-length insects, children dash here and there, waving blankets or plucking at branches to shake the locusts free. One woman, Kanini Nadunda, battered them with a shovel. Even a small swarm of the insects can consume enough food for 35,000 people in a single day, said Jens Lark of the UN Humanitarian Office in Geneva. Farmers are afraid to let their cattle out for grazing, and their crops of millet, sorghum, and maize are vulnerable, but there's little they can do. About 70,000 hectares, 172,973 acres of land in Kenya, are already infested. This is huge, said Kipgok Dale, a migratory pest control specialist with the Agriculture Ministry. I'm talking about over 20 swarms that we have sprayed. We still have more, and more coming. A single swarm contains up to 150 million locusts per square kilometer of farmland, an area the size of almost 250 football fields, a regional authorities say. One especially large swarm in northeastern Kenya measured 37 miles long by 25 miles wide. Wow. Kenya needs more spraying equipment to supplement the 4 planes now flying, Mr. Talley said. Ethiopia also has 4. There also needs a steady supply of pesticides, said Francis Kitu, Deputy Director of Agriculture in southeastern Kenya's Kitu County. The locals are really scared because they can consume everything. Mr. Kitu said, I've never seen such a big number. The locusts eat the fodder for animals, a crucial source of livelihoods. Families who now worry how they will pay for expenses like school fees, he said. His own concern about the locusts. They will lay eggs and start another generation, he said. Changing climate has contributed to exceptional breeding conditions, said Nairobi-based climate scientist Abubakar Salih Babikar. Migrating with the wind, the locusts can cover up to 150 kilometers, 93 miles in a single day. They look like tiny aircrafts lazily crisscrossing the sky. They are now heading towards Uganda and fragile South Sudan, where almost half the country faces hunger as it emerges from civil war. Uganda has not had an outbreak since the 1960s and is already on alert. The locusts are also moving steadily to Ethiopia's Rift Valley, the breadbasket for Africa's second most populous country, the UN says. The situation is very bad, but farmers are fighting it in the traditional way, said Buni Orisa, a resident of Ethiopia's Sidama region. The locusts love cabbage and beans. This may threaten the shaky food security in the region. Even before this outbreak, nearly 20 million people face high levels of food security across East African region, long challenged by periodic droughts and floods. And exasperated farmers look for more help in fighting one of history's most persistent pests. The Food and Agriculture Organization FAO Locust Watch offers little consolation. Although giant nets, flamethrowers, lasers, and huge vacuums have been proposed in the past, these are not in use for locust control, the UN agency says. People and birds often eat locusts, but usually not enough to significantly reduce population levels over huge areas. Still, it offered recipes. One suggested seasoning in Uganda is chopped onion and curry powder, then fry. And that's one of the things they were doing. Like in Somalia, there's an article saying that they're trying to fend them off by eating them. And we all know that locusts are a very evil pest, that they've been mentioned in the Bible as one of the plagues of Egypt. Now, some people were saying that it may have been related to HARP weather modifications and other technologies, and it's not impossible because they are linked to wet and moist conditions. If you remember last year, there were swarms of locusts that attacked Mecca. That was related to lots of floods that had been happening in that region. So it could be that if you can mess with the rain enough, that you can create conditions for these locusts. Because we know that they are interested in reducing the population, so this is another means to do it. Anyway, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'll leave this article in the description. If you want to support this channel, leave my GoFundMe there as well. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me there as well. Peace.